Have you ever felt a chill down your spine when you couldn't explain what you were seeing? We're diving deep into the unsettling, the unexplainable, the reverse world. A place where the laws of physics bend and break, where gravity becomes an illusion. Imagine a world where objects float effortlessly, defying the very forces that bind us. Tonight we explore three chilling tales from this reverse world. Our first story takes us to a small antique shop on the edge of town, a place steeped in a silence so profound it felt heavy, almost suffocating. It was here that a young woman named Sarah stumbled upon an ornately framed mirror, its silver surface dulled with age. It hung, suspended in the air, a good foot away from the wall. No strings, no wires, no tricks of the light. It simply hovered. The shopkeeper, a frail man with eyes that seemed to hold centuries of stories, warned Sarah about the mirror. He spoke of its origins, whispered to be from a grand manor consumed by a mysterious fire. The flames couldn't touch the mirror, they said, and now it existed outside the grasp of gravity itself. Sarah, captivated by the mirror's strange allure, dismissed the shopkeeper's warnings as mere folklore. She brought the mirror home, its presence casting eerie reflections across her dimly lit apartment. At first it was just a novelty, a conversation starter. But soon things took a sinister turn. One night Sarah woke from a restless sleep, a cold sweat clinging to her skin. A strange pull drew her to the mirror. As she stared into its depths, she noticed something unsettling, her reflection. It wasn't her. The eyes that stared back were filled with an ancient sorrow, a haunting despair that sent shivers down her spine. Terrified, Sarah tried to look away, but it was as if the reflection held her captive. The reflection in the mirror, a spectral woman with long dark hair and eyes that seemed to burn with an eerie light, reached out from the mirrored surface. Her long, slender fingers, tipped with what looked like sharpened claws, scraped against the glass, the sound like nails on a chalkboard. Night after night, the haunting continued, growing more vivid, more menacing. The reflection began to speak, whispering Sarah's name in a hushed, raspy voice, beckoning her into the mirror's depths, into the reverse world. Sleep became impossible. Sarah was haunted even in the waking world, the feeling of cold eyes constantly on her, the chilling whispers echoing in her ears even in broad daylight. Desperate, Sarah tried to get rid of the mirror, but it was as if it was bound to her and her to it. She tried to throw it away, but it reappeared in her apartment as if it had never left. She tried to give it away, but no one would take it, sensing the palpable evil that radiated from its cold, glassy surface. Driven to the brink, Sarah finally returned to the antique shop, the mirror, unnaturally light despite its size, clutched in her hands. The shopkeeper, his face etched with a profound sadness, simply nodded as if he knew what horrors Sarah had witnessed. He took the mirror, his touch seeming to make the very air crackle with unseen energy. Sarah never fully recovered from her encounter with the floating mirror. The haunting images, the chilling whispers remained etched in her mind, a constant reminder of the terrifying reality of the reverse world. Our next tale takes us to a bustling city, a place where the constant motion and noise should have drowned out any whispers of the strange and unusual. But even amidst the millions, the reverse world found a way to make its presence known. This time, it revealed itself through an antique clock, its hands moving backwards, its pendulum swinging in defiance of time itself. It was discovered in a forgotten corner of a pawn shop, its brass casing covered in dust, its once bright face now clouded with age. The pawnbroker, a man who had seen his fair share of oddities, thought it was nothing more than a broken timepiece. That is, until he noticed the hands. They moved, but not as they should. They ticked counterclockwise, as if time itself was rewinding. He tried to ignore it, to convince himself it was just a faulty mechanism. but there was an undeniable aura around the clock, a feeling of unease that settled over him every time he was near it. Then the dreams began, vivid, unsettling dreams of events unfolding in reverse, of time flowing backwards, leaving him disoriented and afraid. One day, a young man, drawn by an unknown force, walked into the pawn shop. He was captivated by the clock, his fingers tracing the intricate carvings on its surface. The pawnbroker, hesitant at first, found himself agreeing to sell the clock to the young man, a sense of relief washing over him as it left his possession. The young man, named David, was an artist, his mind constantly searching for inspiration. He saw the clock not as a timepiece, but as a muse, its reversed nature sparking his imagination. He hung it in his studio, its constant ticking a strange, almost hypnotic rhythm in the otherwise silent room. David's art began to reflect the clock's eerie influence. His paintings, once vibrant and full of life, now depicted distorted figures, landscapes that seemed to fold in on themselves, and time twisted into impossible knots. His friends noticed a change in him, a haunted look in his eyes, as if he was slowly losing his grip on reality. One evening, David's friends found him in his studio, his eyes wide with terror, his gaze fixed on the clock. The clock's hands spun wildly, the ticking reaching a fever pitch. He was mumbling incoherently about seeing things in reverse, about time slipping away from him. He described shadows moving backwards, conversations rewinding as if someone hit the rewind button on life, and a growing fear that he was being pulled into the clock itself. His friends, fearing for his sanity, tried to remove the clock from his studio, but it was as if it was fixed in place, its presence growing stronger, more menacing. David's grip on reality continued to slip, his world becoming a terrifying reflection of the clock's reversed state. His friends, helpless to stop the clock's insidious influence, could only watch as David, his mind fractured by the forces he couldn't comprehend, disappeared one night, leaving behind nothing but the eerie ticking of the inverted clock. Our final tale takes us from the bustling city to a quiet suburban home, a place where the horrors of the reverse world seemed unimaginable. It all began with a child's toy, a porcelain doll with hauntingly realistic eyes that seemed to follow your every move. It was a gift given to a young girl named Emily on her 8th birthday. The doll was exquisite, dressed in a flowing white gown, its golden curls cascading down its back. But there was something about its eyes, a depth that seemed to hold ancient secrets that made Emily's blood run cold. One day, Emily's mother found the doll floating in midair, a foot above Emily's bed. The sight sent a chill down her spine, a primal fear she couldn't explain. It would move on its own, its tiny porcelain limbs contorting into unnatural positions. Emily's parents, though skeptical at first, couldn't deny the increasingly disturbing events that plagued their home. They rushed to her room to find the doll floating above her bed, its eyes burning with a malevolent light, its tiny porcelain hand outstretched. Emily's parents, realizing the doll was not a harmless toy but a conduit to something sinister, decided to get rid of it once and for all. They tried to destroy it, to burn it, to bury it, but each attempt was met with failure. Emily and her family were forever marked by their encounter with the levitating doll. It became a chilling reminder that even in the most ordinary of places, the reverse world lurked, waiting to turn the mundane into the terrifying. The floating mirror, the inverted clock, the levitating doll, each object a doorway into a terrifying reality where the familiar becomes unsettling, where the laws of nature are twisted into terrifying new forms. These are just a few glimpses into the reverse world, a place where our understanding of reality is challenged, where the impossible becomes terrifyingly real. What other objects, what other gateways to this unsettling realm lie hidden in plain sight, waiting to reveal their secrets to those unfortunate enough to stumble upon them? Share your own encounters, your own brushes with the unexplained, in the comments below.